What is going on, everyone? Coach Joey coming in. I'm here in the gym. I am actually here, sorry. But I wanted to come in today with a video. I've had this conversation a little bit more frequently with some people over the last few days. So I kind of wanted to put this together. And this is going to be kind of a two-part video. And this will kind of help you guys understand a little bit better when I'm talking to you about nutrition. Kind of some of the concepts and the theories and why some of this stuff works. So it's probably going to have to be broken up into two parts because one's going to be related to nutrition and eating habits, and then the other one will kind of be related to your training. And so this one I wanted to do today, that's going to be based around nutritional habits. So when we talk about body composition goals, especially anybody who's moderately active. So I consider, at least in the United States, somebody to be moderately active if they exercise about 90 minutes to 3 hours a week. And when I say 90 minutes, I mean like 3 days where they're doing like a 30-minute, pretty intense workout. And I'm comparing that to obviously what we do here in the gym as far as CrossFit. And then when we set people up as far as getting them on track with their nutrition, it's usually based around that. So the first mistake that most people make when they're wanting to lose weight is they get wrapped up in the calorie deprivation diets where they go old school. They're like, well, if I eat this many calories a day and I burn this many calories a day, if I could get the number of calories lower than the amount of calories that I'm burning, then I'll start to lose weight and I'll continue to lose weight. Well, that's partially true. You will start to lose weight, but you won't continue to lose weight because your metabolic system, more specifically your resting metabolic rate, will start to adjust. And it's an adaptive strategy, meaning that it's constantly trying to figure out how it can be the most efficient with the food that's provided. And that's why people will typically plateau, per se, when they're dieting. So this is going to be more of a black and white description talking about frequency. One of the big contentions that I get when I talk to people about their diet is I usually try to get them to eat every 2 to 3 hours. And then I hear the long list of reasons why they can't do that. And so this is, I'm putting this together today so that way you understand where a lot of this stuff comes from. So on the side here, this is going to be a reference to our resting metabolic rate. And then across the bottom, this is going to be a reference to time. Now I'm going to keep these numbers pretty black and white so that way it's a little bit easier for everybody to understand. So let's say we have a baseline metabolic rate of 2,400 calories. That means if you break that down across the board, your body is going to burn 100 calories an hour. Now, granted, this is based off of a resting metabolic rate theory. That metabolic rate increases anytime you move, blink your eyes, whatever happens. But just track with me. If our resting metabolic rate is 2,400 calories, that means that in a 24-hour period, we're burning 100 calories an hour. Now, when we start talking about manipulating our metabolic rate, there's two ways you can do it: nutrition and exercise. The first one that I try to have people get on board with is nutrition. This is why frequency is so important. So anytime you ingest any amount of food, your metabolic rate has to increase in order to process the food. Your intestines have to go to work. You're chewing the food with your mouth. There's a lot of things that are typically going on. So as you eat food, this resting, or it wouldn't be considered a resting metabolic rate anymore, but your metabolic rate will increase. And then as time goes on, the food becomes digested, your intestines aren't working anymore to process the food, it will come back down and start running again on the 2,400 calories a day. So essentially, if you eat one time a day, you can raise your resting metabolic rate higher by simply just chewing the food and letting your body do its job. So I've talked to people about this, and it's kind of funny, but this is the pizza theory. So if you're somebody who doesn't eat at all throughout the day, or you eat one time a day, let's say you eat one pizza a day. So you eat your pizza, your resting metabolic rate comes up, your body starts to digest it. So we have a little bit of time here. It'll eventually hit a peak, and then it'll start slowing itself back down. And then you'll come back down to 2,400 calories. So let's say the time from here to here is maybe 2.5 hours before it comes back down to the baseline. So we've increased it to, let's say, 3,400 calories. And then obviously there's going to be an average because it's not just we went from this to 100 and then back down. But what happens is once all the work has been done, we come back down and our resting metabolic rate returns to where it's comfortable. Now, if we take that same same pizza, the whole pizza, and we divide it up evenly throughout the day, and we eat a little bit of it every 2 hours or every 3 hours. So let's say you eat, 1.5 or 2 slices. What ends up happening is you still have these same spikes, but as it starts to come back down, before you get back to your resting metabolic rate, it comes up again because you've introduced food. Starts to come back down, comes up again. Starts to come back down, comes up again. Starts to come back down, comes up again. Starts to come back down. So the more frequent that you eat, the more time your metabolic rate stays at this peak height. And then 2, we're able to keep it above our resting metabolic rate for the duration of the time that we're awake. So simply by taking the pizza that you would normally eat for breakfast and then not eat the entire rest of the day versus taking that pizza and eating small amounts of it throughout the day, you're going to increase your metabolic rate throughout the day by not exercising, by not changing your diet, by simply taking the food that you were eating and then spreading it out over a given time during the day. Now, this is really black and white. This isn't Coach Joey advocating you to go out and buy pizza and put it in Ziploc bags and eat it, 6 or 7 times a day throughout the course of the day. But this is kind of the biggest reason why we talk about frequency when we talk about nutrition. And I know I've talked to some of you about, total amount of calories and how it's kind of debilitating to your metabolic rate, but we're not going to get in that today. We'll save that for another day. This is the most important thing that I want you guys to focus on today. So if you have asked me or you have told me the reasons why you cannot eat more frequently, keep this in mind. This is something that doesn't require much more effort, but it will actually assist you as far as getting to your body composition goals. All right, you guys, Coach Joey out. Still here. Have a good day.